How's it going, guys? It's Chris here again. We are playing some more Mtga. Scrolling through uncommons, looking for an interesting one. Found Vega the Watcher. 3 mana 2/2 flyer. When you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, you draw a card. I was looking at the adventures. I was looking at the what are they called? Foretell cards, that was right. Thinking that it could be pretty powerful, like a tempo strategy in standard again. Worth giving it a try. So, put the deck together. Gonna see how it goes. Got Dream Trawler as our finisher. Should be good. Opening's not too bad. Got a decent hand. Deck's very budget friendly. Doesn't take many rares in the land base. Got some temples. Scry temples are always nice. Oh. The plan of the deck's just to hide things away. Hide things away until we can get a Vega down, and then cast them with Vega on the board. Counter spells can protect it. Draw spells are even better with it. Our adventure creatures become even better. Looks like we're up against blue-red giants. Blue-red giants could be a difficult matchup. Depends on what they're running. Some of the life gain. Hate on that one mythic giant. That could be a problem for us. We're not really equipped to deal with that kind of thing. Well, we are in that we have a few exile-based effects because we have Raven form. But other than that, we don't have a lot. There he is, Quakebringer. We're gonna counter him. Hopefully that'll be good enough for now. Oh, they miscast, so Quakebringer does come down. It was worth a try. Get him off the board again with Petty Theft. Petty Theft is a good... It's a little bit too pricey for a bounce effect, but it's really good on the body that comes with it. And we can stow away our Raven's form. Make sure that there can't be any tricky interactions. Ooh, it's been a long day. Using their new giant cantrip. We get a Charger. Cosmos Charger. It's a pretty good card, all things considered. Can let us wrath at instant speed. That's pretty big. Gonna foretell again, because we can't really protect Vega, so we might as well get as much card draw effects under Vega as we can. And they might not have something to answer it, in which case we'd be doing pretty well. They had the Bone Crusher Giant. We knew that. I don't know why I didn't remember that. It's right there, honestly. Ugh. I'll blame it on being Monday. Although this won't go out on Monday, so it's a little iffy to blame it on Monday, but we do what we can, right? Bone Crusher comes down. He is a really good creature, especially against us. I think Cosmos Charger, well, no. Dream Trawler is our strongest creature. It can block out a Bone Crusher, but that's about the only thing in our deck that can. They're playing Snowlands. I wonder why. I haven't seen anything that would indicate snow, but they might be using that 1 3-mana burn spell. It's decent removal in the worst case. put our Watcher to the bottom. Even though it's our build round, we don't really need it at the moment. Dream Trawler is the win condition, so better to go for that. We do another Dream Trawler. Our luck is pretty good. I'm gonna wait on the Raven form. As it stands now, they can't really attack, and we can just block them out if they do attack. Then we can Raven form next turn after we attack, so they won't be able to block us. One of the nice things about these kind of control style decks, they let you learn a lot about the smaller interactions and just sequencing of magic that can help you become a better player. So we get our trigger. We get down our land. Get a scry. Swing and draw. We should have bounced the Quakebringer here, or got rid of it another way beforehand, because that way we would have gained some life and that would have been useful. But didn't see it, so we didn't do it. So instead we just trigger Spite mode. Raven form afterwards. And we bounce the Bone Crusher Giant. Take our 2 damage. It's just part of the process. Oh. Dream Trawler is still gonna sit there. He can get hexproof whenever he wants. So he's basically invincible. Especially against a giant stack. They're gonna try to do more damage with giant sources. That's a good way to get rid of Dream Trawler if they can get enough. But there aren't really that many, so I don't think it'll work. We can gain back a lot of life here. See what we scry. Raven form's pretty good. Sometimes Magic the Gathering doesn't want to work with you. This is how it is. Dream Trawler grows. It attacks, and it grows. And we have suddenly achieved card advantage. Pretty good. Pretty good for the early game. And we Raven form. And we bounce. And it looks like they're gonna concede. That was game 1. Okay, and we are on to game 2 against Darth Goat. Interesting username. Hopefully they don't try to turn us to the dark side, because, we're respectable blue-white players. We're clearly the good guys in all of this. Although, are we? Are we the good guys? We have 3 Ugins in our sideboard. It's generally not the mark of a good guy. Oof. Rough opener there. Gonna have to mull that away. Decent opener. We'll keep that. It's always so hard to tell when the opener is good enough to keep and when it's not. But our Vega should help us smooth out our draw, so we should be good for a long haul. I'm looking at the actual length of this video, and it's like 40 minutes long. It'll be the longest entry in the whole series of Mtga Misplays. It's all because I like control. Control, 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 and control games never end. You feel like they should end, but they don't. It takes a while. Gotta get everything just right. You have to make sure your opponent can't do anything. Gotta shut down all the fun before it starts, and then you can win. You haven't won a control game unless your opponent's suffering in some form. Saw It Coming is such a troll card. Especially in this deck where it's a little bit harder to actually see it coming. Like in other control decks where it's the only foretell card in the deck, it's a little bit more spot on, but here it's hard to tell whether or not the counterspell is actually the counterspell or not. Valky. Valky is another one of those good control cards that's for shutting down the fun. Unfortunately, we can't run him in this deck because we are not an evil Rakdos player. I'm not saying that Rakdos players are evil, I'm just saying that red and black tend to be pretty evil colors, you know? They're not where the good guys hang out like us. You know, the good old white communists. That's where we are. We're on the right of it. Well, we're on the left of it, but that's political theory. We don't talk about that here. Been a long one getting into this. It just takes a while to, warm up the mind space, get everything going. But these controlled matchups, they do help with that. Because you know what's coming. You're coming to a game that's going to last. Honestly, I've been pretty impressed with the foretell mechanic. Even though it hasn't, broken into standard that much, it's... A lot of the cards are just good enough on their own that... It's kind of worth it, you know? Kind of worth it. You're going to try to get rid of Vega. But Vega says no. Vega and Dream Trawler are just such good draw creatures. As long as you're meeting the requirements, you're drawing, and that's good for a creature. Vega doesn't come with any protection, but it does have a lot of goodness to it. A lot of goodness. Get down another Vega. We have a Raven Swarm in hand, so worst case scenario, we can get rid of the Glass Casket too if we need to. But to say the watch time on this video is not going to be great. Because who has time to watch a 40-minute control player just gush about some blue-white cards? Nobody has that time. But I'm still going to do it, because this deck was fun. This deck was really, really fun for building on a whim. Just stashing everything in your second hand in exile is so nice. Means that things like Elspeth's Conqueror's Death can't steal things from you, and that's always good. We have 3 real cards that we have access to that our opponent can't nab. That's... if only he was efficient enough to work against Nazis. That'd be nice. Probably be broken then, though. Don't want to break our magic. I want it to be just close enough to broken that it's playable, but not fully broken. You know, we don't want to go full Field of the Dead. Don't want to go full Golos. Don't want to go full, what's another good broken card from a while back? Agent of Treachery. Agent of Treachery wasn't broken, to be fair, but the ways you could play it were pretty broken. That was nice. Windowing into a couple of Agents of Treachery back in the day was, it really felt good for the person playing it, not for the person receiving it. Our good old 1/4 let us steal stuff from our sideboard and block out our 1/1s that we give our opponents from our Raven form pretty well. Honestly, I was really impressed with this deck. It's done a lot of the things that I want from a control deck, and it can do more. And that's just really nice, especially for a standard deck. I don't play too much standard because it tends to be a little bit more limiting in what you can do. But our current standard's pretty healthy. I say pretty healthy, it's probably not the best standard it's ever been, but it's the best standard it's been in like 4 years. So we're doing fine, all things considered. Maybe not 4 years, that's probably not an exaggeration, but it's definitely the best we've been since probably since Nexus of Fate came around. Uggin's gonna wipe the board. I know many people dislike Ugin, but he's a good board resetter. An expensive board wipe to be sure, but a welcome one. Can't go 5 seconds without making some kind of reference. Darth Goat has been putting up some surprising resistance. He seems ready to face us in the long haul, and I respect that, but I don't really know what he's running. Go get another Ugin. Play the Ugin shuffle. We might not this time. Shark Typhoon could be good. We play a lot of individual cards on our sideboard that could be good. Got some extra turns, got some removal, some specialized removal, some win conditions. Because, you know, sometimes Dreamcaller can't get it done, and sometimes you gotta go get the Ugin. Just how it is. Sometimes you want to draw your entire deck. Got a mirror for that. Sometimes you need to remove something pesky. Elspeth's Concrete Stress can do that a lot of the time. Just depends on what you need. God, Fave Wishes is a bit of a broken card. To be fair, Eldraine has more broken cards, but Fave Wishes is a good card. I'm surprised we haven't seen our opponent land a... Sorry they haven't gotten their second green source yet, because I assume that there's a heavy deck that will be running the new Vorinclex. Probably. Get down, draw, draw. Gonna attack and then foretell. Don't want something to happen during our attack step. Then we're gonna have our counterspell ready for their turn. Foretell is one of those mechanics where it can get you sometimes, because if you foretell something, you can't use it during your turn. So there is a little window where our opponent could respond and actually do something if we foretell our counterspell away. That being said, generally most people don't And the restriction isn't really that bad. We're going to let that go, I think. The Fave Wishes need a little bit to actually come back to our hand, so it's not like it's not like we're losing anything special by getting rid of it. More foretell. That's just what we're doing. We swing in, we foretell. Wait for our opponent to do something. The moment they do something, we'll be ready for it. Very yawny today. Don't know why. I slept pretty well. I might have overslept, to be honest. Luckily, ECD doesn't actually affect the foretell mechanic in the same way it affects spells. So we can foretell that and we'll still have the counterspell next turn. Because the ECD's effect will go away on the stack. Good old magic being complicated. It's really nice to have a card that you look at and think, this could be fine. And it actually does something for you. Vega's been an all-star. Because I was just looking through Uncommon thinking, there were a few Uncommons from the set that I wanted to build around, but I haven't had the chance yet. And I ran across Vega, and the rest was history. We had to build around it. Because it's such a neat little draw engine. For 3 mana, a draw engine, pretty good. Pretty good for standard anyways. You can get better in historic. Better in other places, but for standard, a 3 mana card that's gonna draw you cards for doing what you were gonna do anyways, well worth it. We do get the Shark Typhoon this turn. We gotta end this game. Been going on for too long, and we're at the point where we're not gonna run into too many problems from trying to end it. Because our opponent is down to the last legs. Luckily for us, Baneslayer does not have protection from sorceries. Oh. And we can start making sharks. Sharks on sharks on sharks. It's just too many references to get everything in, you know? I only have 40 minutes, but there's so many things that we could talk about. It's a little jarring sometimes, but we'll get through it. We can get to where we're going. Ugin number 2. He can deal with those pesky tokens our opponent has. Well, pesky token. But, you know, they might have more. They might have a lot of angels for some reason. I don't know why they would, but, you know. It could. It's a possibility. Don't want to discount it, you know? Oh, look at that. Bunch of angels. Some may say I am psychic. There goes Ugin, the great destroyer of tokens. Gonna destroy our tokens too, but what can you do? Zero mana means the board is gone. Man, back in the day I used to play a March of the Multitudes Trostani deck in Standard. Glad Ugin wasn't around back then, because that deck would have been stomped by Ugin. Would have been legitimately stomped by Ugin. Tokens have 0 CMC, and that means that Ugin can just get rid of them all for no cost to himself. We all know that -0s on Planeswalkers are fair. They're generally just so fair. Well, we can't do anything about that. Our Ugin died, but he did die doing what he loved, making the token player miserable. I say that while we make tokens. He made us a little miserable too, but It's not as though we could have attacked into those angels and kept our one real creature. So we are very close to finishing out this game. About to say, we can attack in here for 5, and then we can just flash in a bunch of threats at their instep and finish it off. That should be good enough. Should be. Depending on what they draw. They might draw something really nice. They might draw something awful. Might not draw anything. But it does look like they did draw something, huh? Wouldn't need to pause if they didn't draw anything. Drew a Visionary. That's a redraw. Redraws are nice when you're dead on board. How's everybody's week looking? Looking good? Hopefully it's looking good. One of those things where even if it isn't looking good, it'll be fine at the end of the week, you know? There are weeks where you're like, this is gonna suck. I don't want to do this, but by the end of the week, it's like, wasn't so bad. You get that feeling of accomplishment that you did something great. Even though the week, you know, it went a little bit your way, but you don't admit that to yourself, and you still gotta feel that accomplishment at the end of the week, you know, Friday evening, sitting there, watching TV, relaxing, drinking a Pepsi. Feels good. Feels real good. Sometimes the rough weeks are worth it. Sometimes they're not, honestly, but that was game 2. Okay, guys, we are on to game 3, the final game of our set. We have won 2 out of our 3 games so far. So if we win this one, we will have a 3-0. Even though old Mtga Arena, which is Arena twice in case you were wondering, has not really been cooperating today with me in my recording sessions. It's crashed 3 times, once after every game. You know, just to let you know that it's in charge. You're not going to win if it doesn't want you to. So, you know, we're still in gold, though, because it's just starting out. We're just starting out. We don't know what we're doing. We're a little noob Magic player. Gotta learn the ropes, you know? Vega. Vega is what you want to see in this deck. Vega or Dream Trawler. Because Vega gets you closer to Dream Trawler. Get our foretell off. I don't know why, but I just find foretelling a card so satisfying. Like, it's the dirty control player in me that really just loves foretelling cards. Because it's like, just taking off the turn, moving my card around. It's not in my hand anymore, it's over here. You know, that kind of thing. And it's like something that you know you shouldn't feel pride in doing and enjoying, but I kind of do, to be honest. Kind of love moving those cards around, you know? It's like, it's not in the hand anymore. It's in the exile zone. And that's nice. Why is it nice? Couldn't tell you really, but it is nice. It's real nice. Vega survived. I have a counterspell and a draw spell in the foretell area, so which is just the exile, but we can draw 3 cards next turn for 2 mana. That's a pretty decent rate. Or we can counterspell and draw a card. That's also a pretty decent rate. Like, there are worse things we could be doing with our mana. And God knows I've done some of those worse things with my mana, but like, if you want to look at my other type of favorite archetypes, you can look back at the video on Rakdos Dreadhorde Arcanist, and that deck is doing the polar opposite of this. It's not helping people. It's not helping you draw cards to outvalue your opponent. It's helping your opponent lose cards so that they don't have the things to fight you back. And that was a very rough strain of thought, but you know what I was going for, so I'm not going to apologize for it. We're going to take our 3, because that's what we do here. We draw and get beat. Well, we draw and don't get beat, because we've won every game we've played so far, but you know the ideal. Ooh, we've come quite a way in the recording, haven't we? We're already there. Finish line's drawing near. Got a cup of coffee or cup of tea sitting there somewhere, maybe on your desk, ready to have a nice sip. Just sit back, relax, and watch one person make another person suffer for your entertainment. That's what this is. That's all there is to this. Now, it depends on who is the person that's being made to suffer here, whether or not I'm actually enjoying it. And so far, I've been enjoying this deck, because I'm not the one that's been suffering, but those kind of semantic loops are kind of not what we're going for, you know? They are, because we do them, but they're not what the main purpose of making people suffer with Vega is. A goose. The goose, the goose, the goose. Might have to cash in our Vega at some point real soon. Keep us safe, you know? Not that it would keep us safe, but their board is getting a little big, a little too worrisome. We're losing the race, that's bad. And an Imstrom Predator is not a great thing either. How can we get rid of that? Thinking. Raven's form would probably be our best option. We managed to find our best option. Now we don't foretell it this time. That way we can use it. A little worried there for a second. I saw myself scrolling over the foretell button, thinking maybe that was what I was going to try to do, but luckily I didn't. Opponent's going to sack. They can't stop it from being exiled, but they can get some value out of it before it goes. Don't get their bird, though. That bird could have won them a game. I don't know that. But, you know, not everybody wants your offerings. Vega's going to draw us a card as we wrap them away. Opponent's been a pretty good sport about all this. Pretty good sport, honestly. This recording session was pretty clear of anything like roping or anything like that. Hey, it's Corvold. Corvold's bad. He draws cards. And the blue-white control player in me says, nobody draws cards but us. Go Raven form. Make Corvold go by. Then we can go get ourselves the Nugan. Oh, no. Yeah, we're gonna go get ourselves the Nugan. Most of life's problems in Mtga's Gathering can be solved with Ugin. As I'm sure you're all aware, I'm sure you've been playing your lovely jank decks in Standard 2. Next thing you know, an Ugin comes down and he solves all of your problems for you. No more creatures on board, no more enchantments, no more permanents. Problem's gone. And you may be thinking to yourself, those weren't problems, those were my board. But yeah, from your opponent's perspective, those were the problems. You gotta always keep your opponent's perspective in mind. And Ugin comes down, he's gonna get rid of those problems. An Imstrom Predator is a huge problem, because we only have like 7 ways to deal with it in our entire deck and sideboard, and Ugin's one of them. because Ugin exiles. We're even formed with our other 4. We had to make some cuts on what we could put in our sideboard. We couldn't be too greedy. But we have to have other room for things like card draw and hard removal, and enchantment removal, because we don't want to be a responsible deck builder. We don't want those in the main deck. God forbid we had a way to answer an enchantment in our main deck, other than a counterspell. Because, like, what are counterspells going to do if they're not answering enchantments? Nobody knows. Honestly, a little bit worrying. Hopefully this charmful banter has distracted you from the fact that I just Ugined another player. Because I know how you guys don't like that, and while I hate to do it, sometimes you just gotta. And the banter, it's my peace offering. If you can't accept it, I can understand, but sometimes, sometimes you gotta accept the banter. Our opponent does have around the same number of cards as we do. So we get rid of the Woe Strider. Don't want that around. About to say, my mind immediately jumped to a Bastille parody, not a parody, cover, when I was talking about Woe Strider, and I don't know why it went there, but it just did. For some reason, the Woe Strider was a scrub, and I don't know why. Minds can do the funniest things sometimes. Let's see what great escape artist is coming our way. Hopefully it's Croxa. Yeah, it's Croxa. Ugin's gonna do what Ugin does best. He's gonna exile the board again. Start dealing some damage. That's gonna be good for us, because we need Ugin to start doing what he does best. He needs to take charge and make other people's lives a little bit harder. Gonna swing in for 3. Get down our threats. There goes a Crone War. He's gonna steal something. Steals our Fae of Wishes. Luckily we can petty theft that. I mean, it's ours anyway, so. What does it matter if we steal it? And we can get down our Braithenbar, up our clock, and that's game 3. We did it. 3-0. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to leave a like and subscribe. See you next time.